Alright, let's see what Elden is all about. Missed the live stream by a little bit, but it's fine. Sometimes it's easier. Alright. And I can cut through a lot of it too. Thank God. Hello, welcome. Name is Zobat. I'm gonna react to. Let me see what the hell is going on with Elden Ring. Since they had a live stream event at 10 a.m. and passed it by 3 hours, but we can like easily cut into it, so it's gonna be real interesting to see what's going on here. Let's see what's the big gameplay. And have it in 4K too. I wonder if they're gonna do just gameplay.
16.
Probably.
Hello everyone, thank you for taking the time to join us today. In this video, we'll show some footage of our new action RPG, Elden Ring. We hope it helps to convey a little of this title's mood and gameplay.
Oh wow. Wait, what the fuck?
Elden Ring is set here, in the lands between.
Jesus Christ, this game is beautiful.
A site of grace, acting as a place of rest for the player. Occasionally, grace will manifest rays of guiding light.
What?
Of course, we're free to choose whether to follow this guidance, or head off to explore in a different direction.
This is very wow, this is very open world. Jesus Christ. You know, I don't hate it for Jesus. All right. Oh yeah, just fight a boss in the middle of the fucking lake. That's crazy. Hey, that's crazy. That's awesome. Yeah, they're not gonna show the whole fight. That's clear.
Hello? Can you hear me? Help me. I'm stuck. Hello? Please, anyone? Oh, my stars. I'm so happy to see you. I am Alexander, also known as the Iron Fist. And as you can see, I'm stuck here. Please, can you help me out of this?
Ow.
Put those doubts to rest. I'll be just fine. I'm very well trained. Give it your all, I say.
Just hit him. Okay.
Well played, good sir. Well played. Oh, that mighty wallop of yours almost spelled the end of me.
This is very open world. Very, very open world. Oh
The
my
map
god.
can prove useful when exploring the world, and is populated by acquiring map fragments. We can use markers to customize the map, such as setting reminders for the location of crafting materials or dangerous enemies.
I'm not really sure I love that about. Actually,
Beacons can also be placed to help with orientation. Beacons placed on the map appear in the world.
okay, that's actually pretty cool. You know, I don't know if I like it or not that... Oh, wow. Whoa. Jesus
Spirit
Christ.
springs can be used while on horseback to launch high into the air. This allows for stress-free traversal of areas with a great deal of verticality.
I'm kind of wondering what's their design decision for kind of making it the way that it looks. Because like it's pretty clear that you have really like the horse traversal is a thing. I think they...
The carriage over there is carrying treasure, an opportunity too good to pass up.
So like how would a player know that?
We'll prepare for combat with some item crafting, using materials found in the world.
Like how would a player figure out that those things happen? And obviously Dark Souls is a little bit better about this than... Well, Elden Ring is probably going to be better about making it so that it's in... Making it so that it's inside, like, the game.
Enemy stance can be broken with heavy strikes, such as when attacking from above. A variety of unique attacks can also be interchanged between weapons.
What is this teleporting?
In more perilous situations, we can summon spirits to assist us in battle. Spirits vary greatly in type, so we look forward to players experimenting and finding their personal favorites.
There's gonna be one that's like OD powerful. It's like no guarantee. It's good to... There's obviously gonna be one stronger than the others.
Online
Teammates?
multiplayer can also be enjoyed with players from other worlds, from cooperative to PvP and invasions.
Okay, so kind of like classic Soulsborne shit. I wonder how many. Is it just one? If it's just one other, it's kind of lacking. Hopefully it's like more than one.
Deadly creatures stalk this forest, so we'll use stealth to avoid detection.
Stealth, which is crouching.
We've come across a boss guarding this area. we'll take it on with the help of our co-op partner.
This is a very different world than what I expect it to be, and I don't hate it. What the hell? Yo, the magic is so fucking crazy. Jesus. What the fuck? Is she using a dragon head? Hey, that was cool as shit. So like they opted out of linear structure, like a linear structure game for like an open world one. It's looking like
caves, mines,
okay.
and other dungeons can be found while out exploring the world. These dungeons each hold their own secrets, from hidden treasures to fearsome bosses.
Hidden wall. What is that? Enemy? It's like story element stuff. Probably.
Greetings,
Yeah, I had a feeling.
traveler from beyond the fog. I am Melina. I offer you an accord.
We've reached Stormvale Castle, a large-scale dungeon which connects seamlessly with the surrounding Limgrave region.
Now, to see it itself was probably good. Oh my god. This is a really good testament of like if they're gonna put it on PS5 of how well connected like loading big areas is.
You're tarnished, aren't you?
And like culling.
I would advise against taking the main gate into the castle.
This game looks fucking really good. Jesus Christ.
By hardened old
This is like
hands. Oh, try the opening right here. The guards don't know about it. You'll breach the castle undetected.
that's the first time I've seen that.
Fair enough. You certainly don't have to trust me. Well, if you must go through the gates, I'll signal them to open. But of course, I'd advise against it.
So the biggest thing about what
Open the gates!
he's gonna immediately slain. Okay. Let me go the other way.
The main route seems risky, so we'll try entering through a back way.
Looks pretty cool. Ooh, that was very Bloodborne-esque. They really pulled off all the stops for this.
Extra care should be taken when moving through dungeons, as visibility and terrain differ from when in the open. We hope players enjoy getting a feel for the different types of areas and coming up with suitable strategies for each.
Jeez. So it's got a lot of its classic like design, like Dark Souls design, Soulsborne design stuff. So the biggest thing about open world games is that there's always like problems with how to like move players with objectives and stuff. So like what do we do for like helping the player like get to places? Oh my god, you can traverse a lot more freely than I expected. That is actually really surprising. And it's like, how do you move players from one spot to another? Can you double jump? No, you can't.
Dungeons are complex and multi-layered, meaning they can be tackled from a number of routes.
Oh, okay. That's fucking nuts. And so...
Nice to meet you. The pleasure's mine. Roger is the name. A sorcerer, as you might have guessed. I'm looking for a little something here in the castle. When I'm not hot-footing it from the troops, that is. But enough about me. What are you doing here in Stormvale Castle? This place is bristling with tarnished hunters.
I'm like really interested. So I'll finish my thought after I get to this.
Not exactly a place I'd stroll into without a purpose in mind.
They have animated they have like a lot of enemies. Like a lot of fucking enemies. Because it's not like they fixed animations for like some of the NPCs or something. Oh my god.
In this next boss fight, we challenge one of the demigods, ruler of Stormvale, Godric the Golden.
God, what? They're not gonna show it, are they? Don't show the boss.
Mighty dragon, thou the true-born heir. Lend me thy strength, O kindred. Deliver me unto greater heights. Well.
What the fuck?
Plain as a lord. I command thee, kneel. I am the lord of all that is golden.
Yo, what the fuck? Oh, he's actually gonna... Alright. What the fuck? Hey! He's fucking wild. This music is fucking nuts.
Thank you for watching. This was just a brief introduction to Elden Ring's fundamentals, but more details will be revealed at a later date. There's not long to go now before release. In the meantime, we greatly appreciate your continued support.
The Tarnished will soon return.
Alright. This is like kinda... yeah, it's like a trailer. Story really doesn't make any sense, but I don't think it ever made any sense.
Extinguish thy flame.
But
Will fight.
there's a...
Will die. For how else
there's so many enemies, Jesus Christ.
be born?
So many characters. Oh, February 22nd? Oh, okay, it's coming out in like 4 months. The statue of Milena Blade of Miquella. Has really not... it looks... that's a good looking statue. So a big aspect of what makes open world games like this like really questionable at first is a lot of like how do you move the player from one spot to another, right? And so games like fucking, you know, games like fucking like your Ubisoft open world games kind of like move players with like going through the map and like setting objectives or objectives showing up and then just moving them with that. And I kind of got over games like that really easily because it gets to the point where it's like, okay, like what is the point of this game when all you can do is like move around in one spot to another, right? It's just kind of like, it's just kind of really frustrating to kind of have an open world game just kind of, you just move by like objective markers and not like naturally like take in the world, right? I guess that's the benefit of something like a Breath of the Wild, where like there is no quest objective, so you don't have like really directions, so you just kind of do it on your own and you just kind of figure it out. And I guess that's the benefit, is that like you want players to naturally figure out the world without any kind of assistance. And by assistance you mean like you want them to be able to figure out where they want to go and be able to like make it so that you can, returning to those areas is like really good, especially for something like crafting, because like seems like crafting is a thing in the game too. It's giving like very it's giving the player the tools to do stuff. So like this is a really good example. Like this is a really good example of like there's a lot of fucking area to go, right? It looks like there's a forest here, you know, there's a fucking castle here, there's like an area up on the right hand side, like up here. There's area on the bottom right hand side, bottom left hand, and also on the top left. There's like a lot of places you can go to. And so I think they did a good job designing the map around players placing stuff rather than the game doing it, right? Because like there's 100 markers. That's a lot of fucking markers. That means you can mark up a lot of things that you need. And clearly there's already in-game like markers that they already placed down for you. So like it says Site of Grace list. So these are like, it looks like directions. Like this looks like directions almost, to be honest. Right? So going back to it, open markers, like you place beacons that show up on the map to go to. So it's like not basically this whole thing isn't like overwhelming with like objectives to do, but you also don't want to leave players like objectiveless. You don't want to leave them like not knowing where to go or how to get from one location to another without some kind of like way to do it, right? And obviously like you want to make it natural. So like, oh, if there is something interesting, a player could put a marker or beacon somewhere and just go to it, right? Like you want to make it so that it's easy like that. So stuff like this is like really important. I kind of wish they showed getting to a beacon and like if it goes away, but that's like a small quality of life thing that they can like introduce into the game. But yeah, it's like you want to be it so that you can see this fucking tree in the background and you can just kind of go to it. I mean, like he's obviously going to it right now, right? He's just kind of going wherever he wants to, just naturally, and that's the kind of thing you want to do. I think that's a better game design, like for open world games than it is like dictating to players but via like map markers and just like UI elements, like where to go. But there has to be enough level design in the game to get you to these points. Like not like somebody giving you a quest, but like whether it be like not someone giving you the quest is like telling you where to go. I guess that's like one way, but like natural ways for players to figure out like what to do or how to get to spots. Because like if you get here, right, obviously like how you get here and you're thinking to yourself like, how do you tackle this? How are you gonna know that there's a chest there without even looking? How do you know there's a chest there? Like is there enemies patrolling around it? Not really. Like that's the one aspect of it that's like not really shown, is like there's not like heavily guarded areas near it more than the other stuff, you know what I mean? So that's the part of it that's kind of lacking to me, that's you know, like inherent ways that you would know that, oh well, that's dangerous, or you know, you have to figure it out. Let me like go back another 2 steps, right? So like, you tackle this area, like I see a bunch of like torches, it's raining, you know, there's like one guy in front of one chest, right? Like he just gets here, right? And there's like a bunch of patrolling guards. Like, how do you know to get to the chest? There's a bunch of shit here that I would probably like go to. This looks like a chest right here on the top corner, like right where my mouse is. There's a chest right there. Like, how do you know that there's like a chest here in this area? You know what I mean? How would you even go to check it? There's like one guard here. You know, if there's like 5 guards here, you know, that would be like a way to show players like, hey, this is something like, why is there 5 guards here? You know what I mean? It's like more dangerous than the other. So, you know, things like that, or like interactions, like not even just a player, like a character, like an NPC telling you where to go, but like, oh, it's you can see the NPCs interacting with the object. You know what I mean? Like interacting with it. That's the aspect of it that Dark Souls or Soulsborne's games don't do. Like they don't interact with the world in the same kind of way that, not that they don't interact with the world, but they don't interact with it live in motion when things like this occur. So it's very odd for me because like, look, how are you supposed to know? Like obviously the candles make sense, right, when you get up to it, right? But like, how do you discern where to go as a player? Like you can't just, like, light is cool and all, right? Like light is awesome, but like how do you discern whether or not, like, where to go and what to do? And that's like a super big part about open world design that like I feel lacks sometimes. When you have a linear design for a game, or either like linear even with like alternate paths to get to places, you could design around ways to interact with that world, or set pieces to like let players do things that like is intended, right? Like you're inherently and intentionally like guiding them from one spot to another. They come and get this item, they fight this boss, they go to the next area. You know, and I'm not saying that Dark Souls is a inherently linear game, because clearly you can tackle areas at different skill levels, but a big part of it is like, hey, this is like an intended way to do it for players. This is maybe an easier path. This is how you get to the next spot, you know, so on and so forth. However, you know, so when you decide to take into account where open world design starts to take place, I get very, very critical about it, because you don't want to not have fun. That's the big part of it. You don't want to not have fun. And that's the important part. Because, you know, I'm personally like kind of over the the kind of map marker open world nonsense that happens. And what comes with that is just like a kind of expectation of like how a player is going to interact with that space. They're going to go to it, they're going to fix an objective. You know, they get the objective from some guy who talks to them and tells them, hey, you should got to do this and that, whatever. And then you just kind of go off and do your thing, right? Like, stuff like that is not really cool. Yeah, you know, I think I played Ghost of Tsushima, which is it's a really, really good game. And it does have a lot of like open world map marker type shit, but it makes it really easy to traverse the world itself. And so Ghost of Tsushima is a really good open world game example for something like this. And we'll have to see how well it is. I'm a really, really big fan though of the game, like just general overall gameplay. It doesn't seem like anything out of the ordinary for a Soulsborne game. Like, it looks like your typical, like, you know, dodge, roll, jump, magic, you know, fight your ass off with some sword, figure out boss pattern kind of thing. So it's not different in that aspect. So it's very formulaic in that way. But I think that this is like not a bad idea as to what to do. My only concern is like the way the open world interacts. This doesn't even look like a wall. This looks like this just looks like a regular wall. But yeah, that's my big issue is what does the open world have to offer that you can't just do in a linear version, right? Like, why go as far as to make an open world game when you can just go make a more linear one, or more theme park designed one where you can go from one place to the other with a hub or something like that? Like, what is the benefit of creating an open world? What is the benefit of creating an open world game, right? Like, what does it offer more? And obviously it's like scale, it's like expansiveness, it's scale, it's, you know, like freedom, I guess is one good way to put it, like where players can go. But I mean, Demon Souls it's not a bad game. Dark Souls or Bloodborne are not like bad games to like let you do whatever you want, like, or go wherever you need to if you have the option to. They do have obstacles that deter you, so that's the big thing. But that's kind of my big concern, and I think I'm critical of that because of, you know, the recent uptick in like open world games that are coming out recently. Just in the last like couple years, like 5-6 years, there's a lot of open world games that are coming out, and it's just like, oh my god, like why is there so many open world games? But yeah, I think they have a really good handle on what they want to do. I think the setting up your own markers and allowing players to set their own means that they have to have gone to that area first in order to know what's going on. Like, is a really good way. There's like a really good shot right here. Like right in this shot right here, right? In order to know to go to this far off area, if you can, for that matter, I don't think you can. It could be just a set piece and just like part of like the skybox or part of the just the terrain, just like LOD random stuff. Like, in order to know to get to this spot, you would have to come up from the scaffolding. You'd have to come up from the scaffolding and check this out and like find a way to tackle it. And it's not like on your map you have to come here and like figure it out. And I'm hoping that they utilize that aspect. I hope they utilize that aspect of just like the scale to be like, okay, you can go to that area and just figure out how to get to it. And it looks like it can be. There's like a mountainside here, and like obviously there's like the ground shit. So that's like, those are really important aspects about open world that you want players to experience, rather than like, I don't know, rather than giving them like a bog standard open world. They have, I think they're very aware about open world design because it's clear they have some kind of idea. Like they have some kind of idea because it's clear that they're like designing with some choices in mind like that. And they're designing, you know, around players going to and from an area different than other players, especially with this right here is a good example. Like the moment you start jumping, I was like, whoa, wait. They're expecting players to like go and they're expecting players to like do different shit. Like they're expecting them to climb and to jump and to like traverse over terrain or within it or around it. So I think there's a lot of hidden tips and tricks they're gonna do. It looks like the world is intentionally designed. So that's the good aspect of it. That's making it really that's making me feel a lot more confident in this design and what they're doing. Does it say? Did it say when it was getting released? So it was February 20th, 2022. And then is it only for PS5? So it's PS4, PS5, Xbox Series X, Xbox X, Series X and S, Xbox One. Oh, I forgot they're two different systems. And then digital, and then it's gonna be on the PC. So there's a Bandai Store exclusive. So, yeah, this is a really interesting. It's gonna be a really interesting development to see like how the game is and if it's gonna have longevity too. I think there's a lot of things that they can stuff the world in, like aspects to expand it and really like give players something to do. Because usually, like when you go for an open world game, you concede on a lot. With like something more linear, you expect them to accomplish like an objective one by one. And Souls, like, especially because I play Demon Souls is a really good example. You finish Demon Souls by like completing one area, beating its boss, then moving on, completing like going on and like that, like beating an area, beating the boss, and then you've kind of completed that area, then move on to the next one, right? Same thing with Bloodborne. Like, even though the Bloodborne's like interconnected, you go into one area, beat a boss, that's it, you're done. Like going back into the same area very rarely yields a new boss in that same area from like, you kind of just, that's the linear aspect of the game that is like makes sense to me. like Gascoigne, like you're not gonna beat Father Gascoigne twice, you know what I mean? And the only other time you fight someone else in that area is like you fight one of the hunters like back in that area. I think actually parts of the I do remember parts of the game when you backtrack starts like getting harder for Bloodborne, especially when the Blood Moon comes out. But yeah, I think they have an interesting thing going on here, and I'm really excited to see like what's good with it. All right, guys, thanks so much for hanging out. I'm done here watching this reaction stream. I think that's like a really good way to do it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching, hanging out with me, and listening to me. I'm gonna end the stream. It's kind of a impromptu, a little late, but you know what? Sometimes being late is fine. You know what I mean? Being late is okay. All right, peace out, y'all. Thank you again for listening.